So one of the things that we did during lockdown, during quarantine actually, was the virtual shows, right? Where we did the Twitch streams and the Instagram shows. So if you guys were a part of that, thank you guys very much for tuning in on that. We had like, 1,000 people at one point tuning in. So if you guys were a part of that, thank you guys very much. But one of the things that we did during those shows was something called the moving hole, right? Or the Acme hole, where we were able to actually move a hole on a playing card. And some of you guys thought that that was a camera trick, right? So today, what I can actually do is I can actually show you guys that that wasn't a camera trick. So I actually brought a card with a hole in it just here. And so what we'll do is we can get that for you right here. So right here, what we have is a card with a hole in it, right? And so you can see that that is a genuine hole, right? You can see that that is a for real hole right there, right? But just like before, if you take the hole, right, what you can do is you can just sort of remove it. So now you can see that that is a whole card again. Yep. Perfectly restored, right? So that's the way you can see that that wasn't a camera trick and it can actually be done live, right? Excellent. So whenever I start doing card magic and I start manipulating the cards and stuff, people always ask me, well, Johnny, is there anything that you can do in a casino to actually go into a casino and actually win games, right? And the answer is actually yes, right? Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do to actually win at games, right? So the other question is always, well, what's the moves that you can show us that we can use, right? So the thing is, there's a lot of different moves in the game, but the one move that I sort of put above everything else is a technique called palming, right? Because essentially what you want to do in a game is if you have a bad hand, you want to swap it out, so you want to swap the cards, a bad hand for a good hand, right? And you want to do that seamlessly. The best way that you can do that is a technique called the invisible palm, right? So whenever people think about palming, they think about just being able to hide a card in the hand, right? But that leaves a couple of things open, right? First of all, if you have small hands, the card can sort of peek out on the side right here, right? And that's sort of not a good deal. Equally, if you have bigger fingers, the card can peek out what we call windows in the hand, where you can sort of see the card through your hand right here, right? So that's not an effective way to do it. Another way to do it is something called a back palm, where you hide a card in the back of the hand, right? So this is another way that you can do it, but so, you can be holding onto a drink, and you can hide the card back there, but again, you can't rotate your hand over because you have that card back there, right? The best way I know is, again, the technique called the invisible palm, right? So genuine deck of cards. And so if I had one of you guys here, I would sort of like have you guys choose a card for me, but in this case, I'll just choose out a random card. So we'll give this a bit of a mix right here, and I'll just grab a card, and we'll demonstrate this move with any card, right? So if we just take any card, it doesn't really matter what we use. But okay, so the ten of spades is what we're going to use right now, right? So we're going to do this in the way that in the same way that we're going to almost do it as a poker hand. So we need 3 more cards. We'll do 3 more cards, and we'll demonstrate this right here. So you can see that those 3 cards are genuinely coming from the middle. Right here, we'll add that 10. That makes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Excellent. So it doesn't really matter what it doesn't really matter what the cards are that we have. All that matters is we have just 4 of them right here, right? So so whenever I do the invisible palm, whenever I demonstrate this bit, right, people always say the same thing. They always say, well, maybe I'm using my sleeves, right? So people actually think that I'm using wires or something, right? So people actually think that I can get a card up my sleeves here with like wires or something, right? Running it down my other hand, right, where I can sort of deliver it to my hand. Now that right there was the invisible palm, right? I'll show you again in case you missed it, right? So the regular palm starts out in the same way, right? Where you just sort of grab the card and you just sort of hold it, right? But the thing is, again, that's the windows right there, right? But the thing is, if you just sort of come in, what you can do is you can just sort of hold it in the hand, right? And when you hold it, you just sort of rotate it around in the hand, right? And so that you can be very free about this, right? When you have it. But the idea is that when you want that other card, you just sort of come down and you just squeeze a little bit. And that will pop out for you to join the rest of your hand, right? So the best way that you can do this move is actually off the top of the deck. So, because if you're the dealer, you can actually deal your card. You actually have cards already in your hand, and you can get away with doing it, right? So we'll do it with the 10 right here, right? We'll do it with the 10. So We'll do it with the 10, right? So actually, you know what? We'll do it with the 10 off the top of the deck, right? 10 off the top of the deck. So we'll do the 10 just here, right? So the idea is that when you get it, so the idea is that what you're doing with the 10 is you want to just sort of put it like deeper in the hand. You know, you can see 1 quick second after you get it. So once you have it, you just sort of hold it in your hand now. And then when you rotate it around, that's when you make it invisible, right? So as long as you don't separate your hands, this looks very good. This looks very good that you have the 10 right there, right? Whenever you want that 10 to come down and join your hand, you just come down and you just sort of pop it out. And that 10 will pop out for you to join the rest of your hand. And that is the invisible palm right there. Thank you guys.